Hi, I'm Samantha Crawford, and I'm going to be discussing the Module 5 discussion questions at this time. The first question is, what misconceptions do some educators have about the level of parental involvement among some cultural groups? I believe that there's many misconceptions with parental involvement within our schools, but the one that I've had the most experience with in my school and within my classes is that of parents who live below poverty level or have a low socioeconomic status. And I read an article this week, other than the ones that we were required to read, and it was titled Immigrants in the U.S., a Profile of America's Foreign-Born Population. And in this article, I found that it said 10% more of immigrants live below poverty level than those who are native born to the United States. So this ties in with that misconception that of the socioeconomic status. The misconception is that these parents are just not as involved with their kids or choose not to be because these children are oftentimes behind, and there's an achievement gap between those students who live in poverty and those who have more resources. And that's exactly what the issue is here. It's not that these parents do not want to be involved with their students or with their children. It's truly just that they do not have the means to provide the resources that other children have. And that's why this gap, why there is this achievement gap. And then question 2 is, how can schools best foster mutually respectful relationships between educators and parents of CLD students? And this can just kind of go back to the low socioeconomic status. I taught pre-K for 2 years, and it was evident to me within the first week of school which kids had been worked with at home. Especially at the age, these kids are the age of 4, but it was just so evident within their speech, within their literacy knowledge. Which letters did they know? Could they write their name? Could they hold their pencil? Did they hold a book the right way? And I think a lot of times parents don't really realize that those are the most influential years of their child's life as far as literacy. But so also in the TED Talk video, she describes that how she contacts her parents within her classroom and how this positively affected the students within her class. She told the story of how she took a student on a trip with her, and he had decided he did not want to go right before it was time to go. And this was because he was shy and he didn't know if he would know anyone. But by the time she called his parents, and they had created a relationship, and by the time they left the trip, he had really closed the gap there of his socially, and he had made friends. And she also mentioned, and I really like this part, that if we as teachers, if we called one different family every day for a month, we would have built 20 meaningful relationships with families within our classroom. And I just really like this idea. It's too often we don't get to know the kids within our class. And I think that is so important. And just learning their family, learning what makes them tick, that's one of the best things that we can do for our kids as a whole. I hope this answers your questions for you, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.